Master Duel is a game with many facets. It's the premier online simulator for Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of the game's truly global formats, but it's also a heinous gacha game, consuming time, money, and what little dignity I have left. So what better way to spend all of that than on a truly bad deck? Hazy Flame is a feature-complete deck. It has searchers, starters, extenders, and an overall game plan. And when you put it all together, it's really sad. Embarrassingly so. Hazy Flame come from an interesting point in Yu-Gi-Oh's design history. Cards were gaining stronger and more consistent effects, but were being restrained in ways that were novel for the time. Hazy Flame embody this shift, but in the worst way possible. They don't get soft once per turn effects, but they still miss the timing. Hazy were also the first to adopt a surprisingly toxic mechanic, Xyz stacking. Basiltrus gained extra attack and effects if you stacked more materials, and while he didn't leave the generational trauma of his successors, he certainly tried his best. In the time since his release, the game has sped up dramatically, and almost every tool imaginable is available to any given deck. And if any given deck can remove any monster just by summoning enough...
Wait a minute, did you just summon a bunch of monsters in one turn?
Yeah, so?
Where does that leave us? The archetypes that finally revitalized Hazy Flame were, ironically enough, its Xyz-era contemporaries, Fire Kings and Evols. Both of these receive powerful modern support and connect to Hazy Flame through this. The archetype finally received a consistent way to find its playstarter and a worthwhile goal for its endboard. With these tools, Hazy is... it's not good, but passable works, right? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's talk game plan. Hazy Flame is built for two things: summoning a lot of level 6 monsters, and then making exactly one Xyz monster. Both of these hinge on Hazy Flame Periton, the archetype's main playstarter, who can be searched by Hazy Cerberus. Thanks to Sacred Fire King Garunix and Fire King Island, Cerb can be destroyed straight from the deck so long as you have a fire monster in hand. So now we can consistently reach our main playstarter with only 2 cards. Evolzar Lars, on the other hand, is an Xyz monster who complements Hazy Flame surprisingly well. Thanks to Hazy Flame Hydra's Xyz stacking effect, Lars can gain up to 3 Omni-Negates just by using 2 Hydra as material. As Periton summons 2 Hazy Flame monsters from the deck, this is actually quite easy to set up. All these things combined lead to a surprisingly consistent game plan. We also run Kashtira and Sinful Spoils because modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a nightmare hellscape. Did you know that Kashtira Unicorn gets to the Fire King engine all on its own? The Hazy flowchart is pretty simple. Are you going first? Then get to Fire King Island, summon Garunix and pop Cerb, and conduct your Hazy combo. Most of these options involve an access point to Ponix, and there's quite a lot of them at present. If you can get a pathway to Ponix, it all sort of works out. What more could I say about him that hasn't already been said? He saved my life back in Nam. If you go second, just play Fire Kings instead. There's another problem here that I have yet to mention. I don't really play Master Duel. 120 hours might seem like a lot, but this is a gacha game. Owning my heart and soul is a given, but it was supposed to have the deed to my house too. Since I'm not going to invest more time and money than I have to, I'm going to try the old, rare, and special to raise funds. Sword Soul. The Master Duel KC Cup equivalent, whose name I can't remember, is active at the moment. So we're going to see what Hazy can do in this format. Many archetypes have been able to enter the modern era by getting a new coat of paint and replacing half of their in-archetype cards. Hazy does not have that luxury. Despite its unique characteristics, it just does not play through disruption at all. But this hasn't made me any less fascinated with the clunky relics of Fire decks past. And despite only debuting a month apart, Fire Kings and Hazy Flame is truly a meeting of two ends of the power curve. It's like mixing chocolate and acetone. Goes down smooth, comes out chunky.